the next fight I wanted to talk about was Arnold Allen's fight against Dan Hooker. I spoke to John Gooden about how Dan Hooker prepares. Old Johnny G's, as you call him. So Hooker obviously cutting down weight again. John said he's an ever professional. Like, he will make the weight no problem. I'm sure he'll be fine. I know he fought at this weight about 6 or 7 years ago, but getting used to not having to cut an extra. He already looked shredded. He already looked like he had no more to give. That's my worry in this, because Arnold makes the weight not no problem, but he's a big guy for the weight still. But he's physically, from a genetic, his dad. How do you get that size? Arnold said, "Get your dad to take steroids and have a baby." So it's he's a genetic freak on its own. But the fight, to me, I have no idea how to look at this fight, because Arnold's stand up is getting better and better every time you see him. Dan Hooker has got very good neck attacks, but is known as a kickboxer. And to me, they kind of mirror each other, but with just a giant reach advantage for Dan Hooker in this. Your take on how Hooker kind of approaches it, being definitely the bigger guy.
I think he's going to want to strike with Arnold Allen. I think he's going to want to make the most of that reach advantage that he has. The one thing that I think Hooker will have in mind is that, he is cut into featherweight for the first time in a long while, and he is traveling a long way to get to the venue. So, traveling around the world, it causes all kinds of water retention issues with travel within your body. So you have to make sure that your diet and your nutrition, your electrolytes are on point, and also that you're properly fully hydrated while you travel. Because if you're not, then you start to retain water, and that makes it even more difficult to cut. On the flip side, Arnold Allen will drive to the venue. He'll drive to the venue. He'll know exactly where to go for his his electrolytes and his whatever else he needs post weigh-in. So they've really stacked the odds against Dan Hooker coming into this. They could have made it easier for him by, having him out of the Performance Institute and fighting at the Apex. If they really wanted to invest in Dan Hooker as a featherweight, then they would have made his life a bit easier. I think this is a big ask to have him travel around the world and to fight someone like Arnold Allen, who is improving by the second. He's a physical specimen. He's got great head movement, great technical striking, and we all know he can attack a neck as well. And one thing that happens when you go down weight classes is that your neck gets longer and skinnier. And Dan Hooker's already a long, skinny individual. You think back to the Barbosa fight. He took an absolute beating in that, and he looked taller and longer, but he looked weaker. Yeah. And my concern is that he's going to look weak in this fight, especially compared to Arnold Allen, who, as we know, is a physical specimen. This could be very much a coming out party for Arnold Allen, and a very rough introduction to featherweight for Dan Hooker.
Yeah, and the gas tank's never a problem either for Arnold. So he's got power. He nearly if Yusuf didn't have a concrete head, and I think Hooker Arnold actually broke his hand, didn't he? That's why he's off for quite a while. He could have easily finished that fight 3 times. Knocked him down 3 times. So he's definitely got power there. He's training back in Ipswich at the moment, I believe. So his Tristar's down, but he's got a good corner team. He's got everything is perfect. He's never out of shape either. I know he eats meal deals and goes on about that, but that's about that's as far as out of the diet it goes for him, it seems. So no, I'm glad. I think Arnold coming out party is probably right, but after this, it's the biggest of the biggest boys, isn't it?
Well, this is it. This is what Dan Hooker
is.
Yeah, I mean, you get a win over someone like Dan Hooker, and then doors start opening, because that's a big name on your record that you can use as a promotional tool around the world. Everyone knows who Dan Hooker is, from headlining fights, and he's his war with Paul Felder. Just an absolute stud of a fighter. But he's a tall individual already, and he's now going down another weight class and fighting someone who is very, very physically well proportioned and well conditioned. And the one win that always stands out in my mind for Arnold Allen, and I know it's from a while ago, but it's the Mads Bennell submission, because Bennell is an excellent neck attacker, and he's an excellent boxer, and he was able to walk Arnold Allen down in that fight and outbox him for a large parts of the fight, but then ended up getting caught in that ninja choke. You can never count Arnold Allen out. He didn't take any real damage in that fight. He was just on the back foot. So his ability to kind of absorb the best that Dan Hooker throws at him and then start to turn the fight around late second, early third, I could see him finishing Dan Hooker. Again, use his gas tank against him. You know, push him, make him work, make him grapple, make him scramble, make him defend his neck. You're going to test his gas tank. You're going to test his weight cut at the same time. It's a good opportunity for Arnold Allen for sure.
Do you think the power is going to translate for Hooker coming down in weight? Because he knocked out Gilbert Burns. You know, he's got some proper good power in that division. But I really worry about the weight cut. I really do. I mean, you know, power's something for Dan Hooker that it's not like a natural thing. Like he's not like a naturally very heavy-handed fighter. Like when he knocks people out, it's because he's caught them right and he's got good technique while he's doing it. And all of those things, it's like, you know, having the perfect knockout punch when you're not a big puncher is like finding that Goldilocks zone for the technique. You know, it's finding the right moment, the right opportunity. All those things are affected by a big weight cut. So it really depends on what he looks like on the scales. You know, he might look really, really good in the first round, and then the second round he might get off his stool and look half dead. Yeah. And that's where, you know, he's no longer really a threat to Arnold Allen, and it could all be about his weight cut. And if I'm Arnold Allen, I'm paying close attention to him. I'm being patient in the first round, and I'm making him work safely as much as I can, clinching him, grappling with him, you know, making him expend energy that he probably doesn't want to do for the whole 15 minutes. Yeah, I have a feeling that's what the Hooker camp are going to be saying. Be patient as well. Take your time, and it might be a stalemate for the first round. You know, what do you call it for Max? Or like downloading data almost. It's
that's it. Yeah. See, it works better for Max because he almost always has 5 rounds to do it. You know, and it's not until not until the losses to Volkanovski where he really started to pick up his pace. You know, the pace that he put on Kattar from the first round was different, but he still can maintain for 5 rounds. I don't know about the same situation with Hooker. I think he can fight hard over 5 rounds at 155, but that starts to drop off. Zabit, I mean, you know, he's kind of fallen off the face of the planet. But the question around him was that what's he going to look like over 5 rounds? And we've never seen it because even when he was supposed to be fighting over 5 rounds, he pushed for it to be 3. And I think he knows that his style is finite over 3 rounds. Going up to 155, Zabit might be much better. But we might see the opposite from Hooker going down.
Yeah, I think 2 rounds for Zabit.
Yeah, exactly.
Kattar and Karl Bochniak, wasn't it? Karl Bochniak pushed the pace in that. That's one of my favourite fights I've ever seen in my life, that one.
Brilliant. And the Kattar one's a great example because you look at that and you go, well, this should have been 5 rounds because it was main event. If it was 5 rounds, probably Kattar would have taken it, you know, because he was coming on strong. Zabit was clearly tired. It's interesting. The extra 10 minutes changes everything. And then weight classes as well. This is a good one that it's over 3 rounds for Dan Hooker, but the weight cut is going to be horrendous, I'm sure.
Good co-main event for this card as well.
Definitely.